Good evening, Zimbabwe. You are listening to Studio 7 from the Voice of America on Monday, December 29th, 2014. And this is Live Talk. I'm Blessing Zulu.
And I'm Kip Stube.
And tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about the impending eviction of Zimbabweans who are currently refugees at the Central Methodist Church in Johannesburg, South Africa.
To join the show, phone us directly at this number, 001-202-619-2077, and we'll call you back.
And as usual, Live Talk goes out to Zimbabwe on our 909 medium wave frequency and on the 4930, 5940 and 15455 kilohertz shortwave Monday through Friday at 8:30 p.m.
On the internet, you can find us at www.voazimbabwe.com, www.voashona.com, and www.voindebele.com.
Well, you know, many of them have stayed here for quite a long time. The longest must be 10 years at least. And obviously the mood in the building is very subdued. Some of it's very sad, you know, because this has been a place of safety. For many, it's been a place of healing. For many, it's been a place of giving them back some place of dignity.
uyezve ndive ndinokwanisa kuwana pekuverengera pandaita mabhuku angu, so yanga iri a good place for me as a shelter. Uyezve it made me feel at home nenyaya yekuti panga pane vamwe mazimbabweans angaripo vekuti vaitaura rudzi rwangu semunhu angari muforeign land.
This is why bona labantu abaningi besahlala emjondolweni lapha eMzansi. Kodwa coming back to iMethodist, angiboni ukuthi bazaphumelela ukuthi babaxotshe lapha. Bengabaxotsha nje kodwa ngibone ngani izathatha isikhathi isemacourt indawo yangu indaba le. Ngoba yaqiniselwa imelwa ngaba-human rights lawyers.
Once again, thanks for joining us. You are listening to Studio 7 Live Talk. And this evening, we are talking about the impending evictions of Zimbabweans at the Central Methodist Church in Johannesburg, South Africa.
The Methodist Church in Central Johannesburg will be closing its doors to refugees by the end of December. The church has been home to a number of refugees since xenophobic attacks occurred in that country a few years ago. Bishop Paul Vereni of the Methodist Church says they were trying to find alternative accommodation for the 500 people living there.
The South African media, quoting Reverend Zivosihle Sizwa, the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, in Southern Africa, says Bishop Vereni's term has ended and the church was caught deciding on how to move forward without the refugees. But the AIDS Law Project, Lawyers for Human Rights and Legal Resources Center says if the church finally closes, as has been threatened, the people who need its support would not miraculously evaporate, and neither would the ongoing crisis in Zimbabwe. Refugees would be dispersed and forced underground into places where they would be less accessible and in greater danger of health and human rights violations.
What do you think about this issue? If you wish to join the show right now, phone us directly at this number, 001-202-619-2077, and we'll call you back. That number again, 001-202-619-2077. You can also send us a message on WhatsApp. Our number is 1-202-465-0318. That number again, 1-202-465-0318. Yeah, mfowethu.
Wongoka hama dzadiwa nhasi tinoda kuti tinge tichitarisa nedambudziko revana veZimbabwe vanga vakapotera pachechi yeCentral Methodist Church kuJohannesburg. Tiri kunzwa kuti chechi inenge isisatendere vanhu kuti vange vachigara ipapo, uye pane vanhu vanonzi vangangosvika mazana mashanu kana kuti 500 vanga vachida kuti vange vachiwanirwa pekugara sezvo chechi yayo kuvhara mukupera kwemwedzi uno. Chechi yanga ichibatsira zvikuru zvizvarwa zveZimbabwe zvanga zvaenda muupoteri muSouth Africa nezvikonzero zvakasiyana siyana. Vamwe vanga vachitiza hondo inombomuka kuZimbabwe zvikuru munyaya munguva yesarudzo, vamwewo vachienda kunopotera nekuti upfumi hwenyika hauna kumira zvakanaka. Gibbs.
yebo kambe zulu kandaba lingalitshona njani lapha likhona khona ngapho ke emakhaya thina hayi lapha siyaphila okwamagama lo blessing namhlanje ke sixoxa ngodaba lwe-United Methodist Church khona ngale ke eJohannesburg okhanya ngazani isiyakuma ukuthi thatha abantu ukuthi bangene khona ngale siyakwazi ukuthi ke inkonzo leyi kade thatha abantu abaningi kakhulu abanye abavele eZimbabwe akade bebalekela okutshiyeneyo basebesiyahlala khona ngale kodwa ke iziphathamandla ze-church leyi bathi kukhanya ngazani kukhona okuhluphayo so ke sokuvalwa ngoDisemba sibili kuyavalwa nqenqe ukuthi akusela umuntu ongenayo kodwa ke okuhluphayo ke blessing njengokutsho kwakho kwanye ngazani abantu bangagcina behlala egangeni abanye kwazi ukuthi bayakuya ngaphi abanye bayesaba njalo ukuthi babuyele eZimbabwe so sifuna ke ukuthi lingene kuhlelo kadesi sixoxeni nasi inombolo lifone kanye siyalifona khona ngapho 001 202 619 2077 kunjalo mfowethu.
I think we have our first two guests, Gibbs. That is Bishop Paul Verin. Bishop Verin, good evening. Bishop Verin? Bishop Verin, can you hear me?
I can, but there's a huge amount of background noise. I don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah, we're having
That's
problems
better.
with the phones, but
That's
now we
better
can
now.
hear you loud and clear.
Yes.
I think we also have Mr. No Muguti, who was also taking refuge at the church. Mr. Muguti, good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
We are doing fine, and thanks for joining us. Gibbs, maybe you can start the ball rolling.
Yes, let's start with you, Bishop Veren. How many Zimbabweans are at that church, and where are they going to be accommodated when they are told to leave?
You know, the count on Christmas Eve was about 468, I believe. I'm not sure how many of those, about 80% of that is Zimbabwean. And we are looking for alternative accommodation. We do have one possibility already in Soweto. We should be able to take quite the majority of people. The Lutheran church just down the road from me in Soweto is also beginning to look as if they might be able to help us. And then there's a councillor as well who's looking for alternatives for us. We've also spoken to government.
Why is it that these people are now being evicted, Bishop Verin? We are reading some reports saying the refugees are accused of various crimes ranging from pickpocketing, prostitution, rape, looting, and the spread of HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis. This is coming from the South African newspapers, and there's another claim that they are accused of running a 2 million electricity bill. Is this true?
You know, our electricity bill, just to start with that one first, has accumulated over a fairly lengthy period of time. We have been in discussion with the city of Johannesburg, and there have been arrangements made to be able to try and settle that account properly. And it's not just the refugees who have run up that account. It's accumulated over a fairly long period of time. To accuse the refugees in the building of the rest of the crimes that you've alluded to and the spread of tuberculosis and so on, I think that that's very, very unfair, because you would imagine that in those kind of crowded conditions, for instance, if we were spreading tuberculosis, it would spread at such a rate that we would not be able to cope with it. We have had Médecins Sans Frontières working in the building since we opened the refugee center, and there's a 24-hour clinic that operates at the bottom of the building as well, and they see people in the building for nothing. We don't even have 10 people in the home-based care, and so the spread of tuberculosis and the rest of it, I think that, you know, those are difficult accusations to quantify and to support whoever's making that allegation. And then one of the things that we have struggled with just in terms of the petty crime is that there have been opportunists who have used the vulnerability of the building to, yes, pickpocket and abuse people walking in the streets, and then run into the building because it's it's fairly difficult when once you get into that building to trace people. We have spoken to the police on more than one occasion of that. There have been times when they've helped us, because obviously that kind of crime doesn't really help the building in terms of the fact that we've got small children in the building, and we have wanted to try and keep the atmosphere in the building as dignified as we possibly can. To come to your very first question, I think that this part of the chapter of how that building is being used at the moment has come to an end. The church leadership, the local church leadership, have come to the point of saying, we want people to be able to find an alternative for two reasons. First of all, the building needs some kind of restoration after 14 years of people living in it under very difficult circumstances. And secondly, for their own sakes, sleeping on steps and in foyers and in circumstances that lack privacy and certainly struggle with human dignity. It is important that we try and find something better and more appropriate for people.
Thank you so much, Bishop. Please do stay on the line. Kune avo vachangotibata nhasi tiri kutaura nezvenyaya yevana vezimbabwe vakapotera pachechi yemethodist kuSouth Africa. Tina Bishop Paul Verin vanga vachichengeta vanhu ava kwemakore 14 sezvamanzwa vachitaura apa. Vari kuti pane zvikonzero zvakasiyana-siyana zviri kuita kuti chechi ivharwe, asi vari kuti ivo vari kutsvaga kwekuti vanhu ava vakwanise kunge vachienda kunogara, vachitaurawo ivo kuti handi chokwadi kuti vanhu avanga vachiparadzira kana kuti kuita kuti zvirwere zvakaita seTB neHIV zvinge zvichitapuriranwa muSouth Africa, vachitiwo handi chokwadi chekuti vanga vachita zvekubira vanhu vachitiza vachienda muchechi umu, asi vari kuti kwanga kwapera makore akati wandei. Nekudaro vakuru vechechi vari kuti chechi inofanira kunge ichiti igadziriswewo mamiriro ayo. Gibbs.
Yes, mzuleke lapha ke uBishop Verene khuluma sibele sithi kungathi kungamanga kakhulu ukuthi abantu bahlala khona ngale ke uMethodist Church ukuthi yibo benza ukuthi kube nobungilimbane obunengi khona ngale eCentral Johannesburg, njalo lokuthi yibo abenza kumemetheke iTB njalo lomkhuhlane weHIV kumbe ngithi igciwane leHIV. Kwese kubuya ke uteke Blessing Nqamuzwe kuhle uthe kulemizamo enziwayo ukuthi abantu laba badingelwe indawo lapho bangahlala khona. Uthe Soweto kanye ngazani kule ndawo abangayidinga, iLutheran Church layo ngazani iyazama, bese kuba lo new counselor nje ozama ukuthi alungise. Okwamanje I think we are joined by another guest, and that is Mr. Mtokozi Ndiweni. He's a Zimbabwean living in South Africa. Baba Ndiweni, ungaunjani?
Ngiyaphila, unjani mfowethu?
Hayi siyaphila kakhulu. So akusitshele wena ngombono wakho ukuthi kambe abantu laba bangaphuma khona ngale ke enkonzweni leyi baza kuya ngaphi?
Lezi zindawo ezibuhlungu ngokuzwa kwethu ukubana ibandla le-Methodist kade liphathisa amaZimbabweni uhlelo lolu alusaqhubekela phambili, of which lokhu ithi kuza ngesikhathi esimasinyane kokuthi akunikezi ithuba lokuthi kube lamacebo angaphathisa abantu masinya. Kodwa esingakutsho ukuthi lathi kusayidi lethu njengabantu abaphathisa amaZimbabweni endaweni eziningi, silohlelo vele besile proposal akade sisiyenzile ku-JST Refugee Services South Africa, lapho ezahlalelwa phansi ixoxiswane ngomhla ka-3 January, but ukuthi not later than January sabe sesile ndawo engaphathisa ukuthi amaZimbabwe lawo asesuke kule ndawo angasela ndawo yokuhlala akhone ukuthi aphathiswe, agcinwe njalo anakekelwe, ngoba lokho kuze ngesikhashana nje ukuthi ithuba lakhona lokwenza izinto eziningi lingabe libe fishana ukuthi angazange kwaba lama-notice and ama-engagements esingathi aproper ngesilungu.
Yes, siyakuzwa kakhulu ke mnumzana ubambe khona lapho ngayikatshana. So he says as Zimbabweans living in South Africa, they've engaged the Jesuits in the sense that there is a refugee center where they are proposing that some people can be taken to that area. So at the end of the day, he says the talks are going to be there maybe starting on the 3rd of January, so that they can accommodate some of them.
Regai timboenda kuna vamuguti muripo here?
Tiripo baba Maswera.
Matsvaga kavamu vari pachechi apa?
Pane vanamhe ndataura navo kana muri kuda kutaura navo ndisvike pavari.
Ndiamai kava handiti? Alright, vanonzi mai ani?
Sendam yavo ndione ndisingazivi asi vanonzi inovatitete Gertrude.
Alright, regai titaure navo tisati adzoka zvakare kwamuri.
Alright, ndatosvika hangu parari.
Hello.
Makadii henyu?
Tiripo makadiwa henyu, ndiri kutaura nani?
Isu tiri kustudio 7, munoitwa mai ani mimi? Munoitwa mai ani, tiri kustudio 7.
Oh, okay.
Munoitwa mai ani imi?
Mati.
Ndati zita renyu munonzi mai ani?
Ndonzi Gertrude.
Oh, Gertrude ani?
Mandeya.
Okay, alright. Mai Mandeya, mungatudza kuti makanopotera pachechi yemethodist irini?
Ndinogara ndakauya pano 2007.
Oh, chikonzero chei chakaita kuti munge muchienda unogarapo?
Noiziwa.
Mai Mandeya, chikonzero chii chakaita kuti muende kunopotera apa?
Ndandisiya kwekugara.
Mune vana vangani?
Ndine vana vakura vakatoroorwa, umwe akaroora umwe akaroorwa.
Saka muri kunzwa sei nenyaya iyo yekuti chechi yaakuvhara? Maane kwekuenda here kana kuti zvakamira sei?
Zvimwe zvamuri kutaura hatisiri kunzwanana muche, dai mamuri kuda taitaurirana zvakanaka.
Tiri parunhare
pakawanda vanhu saka vari kuita noise.
Vari kuita noise. Asi tanga chida kubvunza kuti muri kunzwa sei nenyaya yekuti chechi yaada kuvhara?
Saka pane chakubva tiri kuzvitibva asi kwekuenda kwati hatina.
Hamusati mawanirwa kwekuenda?
Noise yacho mwanangu.
Hai, munogona kufamba here muchienda pasina vanhu? Alright, muchifana kufamba kudaro regai tifana kutaura nevamwe hedu. Asi moenda pasina vanhu navamuguti. Alright, tsvagai pasina noise vamuguti.
Regai ndiona kuti ndingashifta ndikamira pasina noise.
Alright, timbotaura nemi futi muchifamba kudaro vamuguti. Vamuguti mungatudza kuti ko imimiwo makazosvika sei pachechi apa?
Naomba ndasvika sekuziva kwezita rokuti muguti nanga ndiri House of Assembly candidate kureva kumirira maparliamentarians mudunhu reGokwe neMbudziya kuMidlands North.
Saka chii chakaitika?
Mushure mohomwe noizi yakaitika 208 ndari nembabvu dzakatyoka, ndanzwa nekusungwa nokuparadzirwa zvino. Ndakaona zviri nani kuti ndisiye nyika yandaidisa chaizvo ndiye kuSouth Africa.
Saka chechi yanga iri kukubatsirai sei?
Actually pano pahwisiri ndanga ndichiwana maservices anga akawanda. Counseling, shelter, a place to be in a lane where there is no one orudzi rwokwako.
Saka makwanisa kuonderwa peugara here?
At the moment handisina kunyepera pekugara pasati paripo vanhu tichingosunguridzika nokushaya kuti tingaendeti.
Aiwa, tinotenda. Tsvagai pasina noise vamuguti motsvaga vamwe vairi vatatu vatinopota tichitaura navo muchichinjana foni, asi rambai zvenyu muri parunhare muchienda pasina rusha.
Alright, baba.
Tinotenda. Of course, there was Tete, Auntie Mandeya and Mr. Noah Muguti there. They are at the Methodist Church. That's why there is that background noise.
Yes.
But Auntie Gertrude Mandeya says that she has nowhere to go, and the church has been assisting her a lot ever since she moved from Zimbabwe, obviously because of the problems there that include the economic problems. Then we have Mr. Noah Muguti, very interesting. He was an opposition movement for democratic change candidate in Gokwe, Nembudzia, and in 2008 there was that violence that occurred. Yes. So he says he suffered broken ribs, his property was destroyed, and he had no option but to go to South Africa. And he's also saying that at the moment he does not know where he will end up at, because there is no alternative accommodation so far, Gibbs.
Very sad indeed, Blessing. And you could hear some noise, coming from there. Clearly there are some kids that were playing in that kind of background. So I think now we've got a caller from Zimbabwe, and the name of the caller is Swela. Mr. Swela, good evening.
How are you, my friend?
Very fine. How are you?
No, I'm very fine.
Welcome to the program.
Yes, I'm calling at Cross Chocholo. I once called you when I was at the University of Zimbabwe, but I'm under the vacation. It's a sad and a pathetic story to understand that our Zimbabweans are being mistreated in South Africa. I think it's tricky to understand that this church has been closed, yet it was a church that was keeping the refugees there. I think maybe the community in South Africa should understand that we are one. We always talk about global village. We always talk about continental understanding. Since South Africa and Zimbabwe are in Africa, we are one people. So there is need for them to comprehend our issue in a very professional way so that they can help these people.
But as far as you're concerned, do you think that maybe the Zimbabwean government should actually be taken to task, to explain, some of these things? Because at the end of the day, where are those people going to go?
Yeah, that's the sensitive issue and the most touching issue. I think the Zimbabwean government also is concerned because, see, people, why are they leaving their country? Why do they leave their country? So these are the reasons that many people are floating in South Africa, because they want to try to earn a living. And it's a problem, even it's an issue that is giving the South African government a lot of headaches, because South Africa, remember, not only Zimbabweans go there to South Africa, Nigeria, Somalia. So South Africa is not a big country to accommodate all these issues. So, but then still, if chances are there, they should understand that we are just one. And if those even who are trying, those people are trying to plan xenophobia, xenophobia affected a lot of people. Ethnic organizations should try to conscientize people, because the issue that is in Zimbabwe one day will come to South Africa, because it's an issue of political system, issue of economy that has affected South Africa, Zimbabweans. So they have to understand these Zimbabweans that they are in a hot soup.
Do you see any long-term solution to this problem, Mr. Swell?
Well, the issue is very simple, my brother. The Zimbabwean government should sort out any problems that make these people to flee away from their country. Do we have anything that is affecting them? Then that thing should be resolved.
Kodwa usozokuhlupheke uhulumende khonokho ukuthi nxa sesizwa abantu sebesithi kakulungiswe abesithi abantu laba bangabuya enxe bazabuya bazemvota out khonapho kwele Zimbabwe. Awubona kunjani?
Uyabona mfowethu, ukuvotwa out akumelanga ama-African government akwesabe. Nxa ngingasayenelisi ukwenza kuhle, kumele ngivumele, ngingadliwa ngivumele ukuthi sizwe siqhubeke. Remember phela, nxa uhulumende mbungumbusi, yazi ukuthi ilizwe ngelabantu, ufakwa ngabantu, abantu kumele benze intando yabo, intando kaZulu yeqakathekile.
Awubonike esiwela baba. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, baba.
All right.
There was Swela there in Chocholo, in Mat North.
Bishop Verin, are you still on the line?
Yes.
Bishop Verin, have you been receiving any support from the government and other non-governmental organizations, or this was a lone battle? How were you managing to assist all these people?
To a large degree, it has been a lone battle. I'm part of the United Nations Protection Working Group in the UNHCR, and we've had interaction with the Departments of Home Affairs. But the problem fairly substantial. I mean, the estimate is that there could be between 2 and 3 million Zimbabweans in South Africa, and you must understand that I certainly don't deal with nearly that number, even a tiny percentage. And you know, we've faced every kind of difficulty that you can possibly encounter quite normally in a community, from every kind of personal conflict to whatever else you can imagine. And so it's been a fairly lonely journey. It's recently that I've been able to engage with the government, primarily because I'm involved with them in other issues around South Africa in terms of housing and the rest of it. That I'm hoping that we might be able to forge something better. My dream would be that we have a place where your people can come, migrants. You know, I mean, it's not just a South African problem. It's a problem in Europe. It's a problem all over the place at the moment. And that we have a proper kind of center that enables what the Constitution demands. And what the Constitution demands is that we don't form a separate place for refugees, but that rather we enable them to integrate properly into the society. Now, that doesn't just happen automatically. You know, sometimes, and we've tried this in the building, we've had to create skills development, and we've got people who are engaged in trying to find jobs for people. And so more than 30,000 people have been through that building. And some of the stuff that's happened in that building has been absolutely miraculous. Just let me say, we've also got, for instance, karate classes in the building, and one of our young karate people has won an award and will be coming to New York sometime in the new year.
That's good news indeed.
We've established a school. The results of the school have been spectacular. In actual fact, last year they did the O-level Cambridge examinations, and we had a 100% pass in subjects.
Wow.
Not a single failure, you know, which is an incredible record.
Yeah.
We've got teachers who work in the most dedicated and incredible way. And so, you know, there are some stories that have come out of Central that are actually mind-blowing, considering the resources that we've had and the kind of support that we've received. And quite frankly, I want to tell you that honestly, migrants have been a great blessing to this country. And if we learn to actually form the partnerships that one of the earlier speakers spoke about, I'm telling you, we could do something spectacular for Africa, actually.
Thank you so much, Bishop Verin. Do stay on the line. Of course, we did talk to one young man on one of our youth programs, Brian Moyo, who passed through the Methodist Church. He's doing his final year in law. You know, quite a remarkable achievement. He was staying in the streets for quite some time, and then he went, he wrote his Cambridge exams, he passed. He's doing his final year in law.
Fantastic. That's really
remarkable
good news.
indeed.
Yes. And we're getting some messages.
And let me tell you something else about Brian Moyo. He's also been one of our peace action monitors, so that he's been vigilant around issues of xenophobia, and in that position has played a fairly vital role in terms of mediating some of the conflict and anxiety that South Africans have about foreign nationals.
Remarkable indeed. Quite a bright young man, you know. Interesting to interact with him.
Yes, let's just read one message from Mokwena Daniels on Facebook. He says, those Zimbabweans must just go back home and face their problems or make themselves legal by bringing legal documents, period. So we'll continue reading some of these messages after the break.
Okay, so Mr. Ndiweni, Mr. Muguti, and Bishop Verin, please do stay on the line. We'll be back shortly. For our radio listeners, unfortunately it ends here, but we are streaming live. So go to www.voazimbabwe.com and press on Live Talk, where we are streaming live. This is Blessing Zulu.
And that is www.voazimbabwe.com. This is Gibbs Dube in Washington, D.C. Stay tuned.
For those of you who are just joining us, good evening. And tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about the impending eviction of Zimbabweans currently housed at the Methodist Church in Johannesburg.
To join the show right now, phone us directly at this number, 001-202-619-2077, and we'll call you back. That number again is 001-202-619-2077.
Bishop Verin, we know you have a prior engagement, and maybe your last word.
My last word is that the world has got to take seriously the entire issue of migrants. They're not a nuisance. They very often present to us as communities a different way of being able to see things, and very often bring the most incredible gifts into a country. And that previous speaker that spoke about us as being family, in an extended family, has got gold in that statement, because if we can begin to start taking very seriously our connectedness and our interrelated humanity, we could, in actual fact, transform what so many people regard as a nuisance. I certainly don't think that Zimbabweans must get out of this country. Mm-hmm. In actual fact, I think that with them, we might be able to build a much more hopeful future for Africa.
Mm-hmm. Father Verin, thank you so much, but you will certainly be hearing from us. And do enjoy your new year.
And to you, every blessing, and thank you for the very important work that you're exposing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and keep up the good work.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
Yes, I will not be leaving my support of the Zimbabwean migrants. Mm-hmm. Never. Thanks,
That's good to hear. Thank you so much, Bishop Verin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Talking about the problems that immigrants are facing all over the world, there's a video circulating on social media showing Angolan security forces beating up immigrants. We don't know where they are from, but it's a very, very sad kind of situation.
Indeed. Shocking,
because they are beaten left, right, and center. So that's besides what we're saying today. But at the end of the day, we have people like Mr. Mtokozis in Ndiweni who know the situation well in South Africa. Baba Ndiweni, usakhona ecingweni? Asithi-ke kulabantu abanjengoMokwena Daniels abakhuluma besithi amaZimbabweans kumele abuyele ekhaya ayebhekana khonokho okumele bebhekane lakho, ungathini ngakho khonokho?
Ngathi okusalayo kuzamele ukuthi abantu beZimbabwe sibone ukuthi siyazilungisela ilizwe lethu ukuze sikhone ukuthi lathi sibe le ndawo lapho esithi khona siyakhona ukuphila kahle. Lokho ngabe kuliqiniso ngezinye indlela, but okwamanje yikho ngisho ukuthi kuyabe sokufunakala lapho-ke kube le nkokheli leziyana ezi-inspire i-confidence ebantwini ukuthi yes ziyakhona ukukwenza lokho. Futhi mina engakusho ukuthi vele eSouth Africa seyikhona i-movement entsha ebizwa Zimbabwe's Independent Democracy. Ngathi nxa ngikhangela nje i-track record yabantu aba-involved ukukhokhela lona lelo i-party kanjalo, ngabantu engathi babalokunakekela inkathazo zamaZimbabweni okubhekane lamaZimbabweni, and ngathi bazo-inspire i-confidence ngendlela engaphezulu ngoba vele kule nhlelo eziningi asezenzile lase-South Africa bephathisa amaZimbabwean alama-challenges achiyeneyo. So ngathi abantu esikhangelele ukuthi nxa okwamanje sebegijimisa kakhulu ezombangazwe kakhulu behamba phambili, ngathi ukuthi ngezinye indlela kuza-inspire confidence ukuthi amaZimbabwe athi okwamanje sesingabe sesithole abantu abakwazi ukuthi bake basebenzisana labo babaphathisa njalo okwamanje nxa sebezimisele ukuthi sebefuna ukuphathisa ilizwe lonke jikelele ngabantu abangaletha umahluko ophezulu, ukuthi abantu noma bengavuka kusasa besiza kuthiwa iphathe kanjalo yiyo esikhokhela or esithungamele elizweni, angeke bacabanga ngabili ukuthi babe belokhu beyalela ukulala ngaphansi kwamabhilidi belala like kuma-steps lokhu esikuzwayo like okwenzakalayo i-Methodist Church.
Ibandla leli kuthiwa kuyini ibizo layo?
Yi-Zimbabwe's Independent Democrats, ZIM-ID. Livele selile team diaspora, ibiza team diaspora e-SA. Silama-organized structures amaningi okuthi abantu bangakhona ukujoyina and ukuze ithuthukise njalo igijimise inhlelo zabo zakhona masinya, ngoba vele okwamanje lama-program amanye ewaranayo ama-associations lapho ephathisa khona, like sikhuluma nje ku-association with i-ZSP Permits Forum lapho mina ngiyi-project coordinator khona.
Yes, imakhona
nami vele ngathi ngiveze ukuthi ngibonile ukuthi ngoba abantu labo ngike ngasebenzisana labo ngathi ngabona ukuthi no, ngasondela lami nje ngibe lilunga laleli bandla ngingakhona ukuphathisa kakhulu ukuthi sigijimise uhlelo lwabo bathungamele izinto zikhone ukuguquka ngendlela emasinyane.
Yes, imakhonapho ke mnumzana Ndiweni siyabonga kakhulu ungayikatshana. So Mr. Ndiweni says Zimbabweans at the end of the day have to take care of their own problems. So he says one day they will make it to that promised land. And he says there's a party that has been formed, the Zimbabwe's Independent Democrats, that has been assisting some of these, refugees and so forth. And he believes that that's the way to go. People have to take care of their issues.
Is he a member of the party?
He says he's a member of that party, yes.
Okay, Mr. Anduin is advertising his party.
Yes.
We hope you are delivering on what you are promising, politicians. Anyway, let's go to Mr. Mguti. Mr. Mguti? Mguti.
I'm still around, sir.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Mguti, Bishop Verin has promised that accommodation will be found for those who are being evicted. Are you confident that come end of the month, which I think is about Wednesday, you would have found out alternative accommodation?
Actually, it's a doggy situation and it's a tricky thing to answer just because he has fought the decree for many years, but just look 2 days, 48 hours. If it can happen anything miraculously, then that would be wonderful. He has done everything within his power. The government failing to help him, the Methodist Church of Southern Africa failing to help him. Then we just hope maybe it will be a surprise or it will be a blessing to have that opportunity of an alternative accommodation in 48 hours.
Vamguti, pane vana vakawanda zvakadii pachechi apa? Tikunzwa vamwe vari kuchema kubackground.
Actually, vana varipo ndo vamwe vandine kodzero netarisiro kuti ndikushawa kuti vataendete. Sekungonzwa kuti kwese kwenzi kuenda inongori mheremhere yevana.
Vanosvika vangani vamunoziya imi?
So namba yevana is over 100.
It's over 100.
Yeah.
Aiwa tinotenda zvikuru Gibbs.
So over 100 kids, eh? That's a very large number. Does he have other people?
Pane vamwe vari padhuze here kuti tingataure navo?
Mati?
Pane vamwe varipo here vatingataure navo?
Pana amai vane mwana akuchema vendura kuti mutaure navo.
Alright, vanonzi ngavauyawo titaure navo.
Alright.
Hello.
Makadi yenyu?
Tiripo Makadi.
Aiwa tiripo. Munonzi mayani?
Mati?
Munonzi mayani?
Andikukunzwa.
Munonzi mayani mimi?
Ndonzi Lois.
Mungatudza kuti mane nguva yakareba zvakadii muripo pachechi apa?
Ndane 7 years tigara banda. 2007.
Kubva 2007. Mune vana vangani?
Ndine vana vatatu.
Vakura sei?
Umwe ane 7 years, umwe ane 4 years, umwe ane 1 year.
Saka munokwanisa sei kuti munge muchivaritira? Munowana chikafu here? Zvinofamba sei?
Hatiwani chikafu panapa, asi kuti pane tongohodho zvinhu tichitengesawo kunzewo kumastreet emuJoburg. Saka panapa panga pachitibatsira kuti hangobhadhariwo rent. Saka mari yaunenge waona unosasa kuchengeta vana.
Ko imo mamunotengesera zvinhu mugwagwa umo hamumbovhiringidzwawo here? Tinonzwa vamwe vachiti mapurisa anenge ari kuvapfuvisa.
Hatovhiringidzwa zvisingaiti, asi tingotengesawo tingodzenga ipapo neapo.
Saka chikonzero chakaita kuti mubve kuZimbabwe chii chaizvo?
Kuzotsvagawo mamiro anga akaita kumba kuti kwangu kusingabatiko mari zvazvimabasa. Ndakauya kuno kuti ndizotsvagawo mabasa awo ikatochengeta munhu.
Asi zviri nyore here muchitarisa zviri kuZimbabwe nezviri kuSouth Africa zvacho?
Zvakati omei, asi kugarisa nezviri kumba kune kwakati neisei.
Ko tichitarisa nyaya yekuti chechi iri kunzi ivharwe panopera mwedzi musi wechitatu, mune kwekuenda here? Mawandirwa here kwekunogara?
Hatina kana kwekuenda.
Asi mune chivimbo here kuti zvinhu zvingagadziriswe?
Handizivi, handina chivimbo because kuri kuenza musi wechitatu. Ndizoti musi wechitatu here pane ngawanika alternative here yekuti tiende. Nokuti kuSoweto kuri kunzi tiende kuCape already kwakazara. Plus nezvinhu kana uri munyika wavangotengawo zvinhu zvakazara mumabhegi kuti utakure luggage kuenda nayo kuSoweto wozodzoka wakuda kutumidzira kumba zvinyorema.
Aiwa, tinotenda zvikuru nekupinda muchirongwa chedu. Tatenda zvikuru. Of course, she is a mother of 3. The first one is 7 years, the next one 4, and the last born is about a year old. And she says she has been living at this church since 2007. That is like 7 years from now. And she's saying, you know, at the moment they don't have alternative accommodation, and she's praying and hoping that by Wednesday, which is the last day, maybe there will be alternative accommodation, and some people will be moved to Soweto, though she's saying it is far, you know, but you can tell. And she's saying that the situation in Zimbabwe forced her to go to South Africa to look for greener pastures. But she's saying things are tough in South Africa, but if you compare to Zimbabwe, it is a little bit better.
So that's very sad, Blessing. Let's read one or two messages on Facebook. And one of the messages is from Tsingitani, who writes, I don't know what is the solution to this issue. As we know, Zimbabwe is not ready. The economy is just like nothing. As we speak now, they cannot feed the people who are already in the country. What more with additionals from outside? Then we've got Charles, who writes, the church has done its part. Then we've got Kulani Charlie, who writes, those fellow Zimbabweans must go back home and start a new life. Zimbabwe is better as compared to 2008 to 2010. The problem with them is laziness, and they must stop it. What hurts me a lot is that you find most of them begging at the intersections of roads with their babies. Then we've got John, who writes, I think we should come up with whatever we can get and rescue the church. It's time to give back, especially those who have come through this church. I think the interesting part of it is this message that was sent by Kulani. Says laziness and stuff like that, you know. Baba Mthokozisi umzwile lapha umnumzana uKulani esithi okunye onganukenzakala ukuthi abanye abantu abayenelisi ukuthi bazenzele abakufunayo njalo ke eZimbabwe sokungani sokungconywana khona manje njalo futhi abantu bezimbabwe abaningi batshona becela imali besemarobotini khonaphana kambe ungathini wamphendula uthini umnumzana Khulani?
Ngathi kuyikunanzelela okumqotho lokho abazimbabwe ayisikuthi aphila mnandi lapha kwele South Africa. Ungananzelela impela baphila kabuhlungu, hand to mouth, impilo yakhona abayiphilayo. So okunye kubangelwa ikhona lokho ukuthi abanye bengalamaphepha aqondileyo ukuthi bathole imisebenzi, noma ngaze athola umsebenzi uyabe ebanjezelwa yilabo abasebenzelayo ngoba ikakhulu amaphepha akhe engalunganga. Lakhona lokuthi nje umuntu uyabona nxa vele sekusimeni lesane sokuthi izinto sezizimbi, ikakhulu situation vele abekwazi lapha asuke khona ukuthi vele bakhangelele ukuthi nxa umuntu ese-South Africa ekhaya ikakhulu ithemba kwayo ukuthi hayi ngale izinto ziyabangcono, kodwa eqinisweni ukuthi akunjalo. But ngathi maybe ngezelele ukuthi silandelela lolu hlelo thina esingakuphathisa kakhulu ukuthi amaZimbabweni lawa asebhekana lolu hlupho nge-agency yakhona sizazama ukuba organizela alternative means or ezinye indlela ikakhulu kwele Limpopo ngoba sike sakwenza lokho even ngo-2008 and 2009 under uhlelo lwalubizwa kuthiwa Zimbabwean Humanitarian Relief Program. Sagcina lathi amaZimbabwean thousands of them. Engathi ukuthi abanye bakhona nxa sengikhulumile so bangabe baqhubekela phambili besiya kuboJobe ngabe ngabe kuyibade sibehlala khona lapho eMethodist Church. So bangalikhumbula lolu hlelo njalo lwabaphathisa njani ngaleso sikhathi. So kamanje badinga ukuthi sesithumele enye iproposal entsha ngoba bese sinanzelela ukuthi inhlupho vele azikapheli, amaZimbabwe nalokho esafa esiya phambili khona lapha kwele South Africa. So manje ikho nje sesifuna ukulivuselela futhi uhlelo lwalo ukuze siphathise abantu ababhekane lehlupho njalo ukuthi vele kuthi kwaqondana lokuthi nje leli program le uhlelo lo amaZimbabwe ade igcinele okuza nalo kwenzakala nje ngesikhashana ukuthi i-planning yakhona la isile yani emergency or a disaster situation.
Hayi siyabonga kakhulu ke. Yeah, thank you very much Mr. Ndiweni. So he says people of course are capable of doing whatever they want, but at this moment things are tight.
For those of you who are just joining us, good evening. And tonight on Live Talk, we are talking about the impending eviction of Zimbabweans and some African nationals at the United Methodist Church in central Johannesburg. The people who are currently at this church are supposed to move by at least Wednesday. Regaiti mbonzwa kuti vamwari kuti kudipa vanyora kuFacebook tina Charles Gwede anoti ma1 kutsva dumbu nemusana chechi yadhakwa apa kuti vadzokere kuZimbabwe zvakafanana nekungozviuraya wozorora. And mumwe anonzi Smiler Matola Alec anoti zvakaoma ma1 chaiwo. Lawrence Tinarwa anoti vanhu ava vakaremara here pamwe chirungu chandinzvenga kana vasina kuremara ngavatsvage basa kwete kuda kuchengetwa. And then we have James Maps guy anoti iye tisanyeperane kuti zvinhu zvava nani, vanhu vari kuenda kubasa mwedzi 6 kuno kuZimbabwe no pay. Saka munoti munhu uyu anorarama sei? Okay, school fees hanzi kunoti school fees kudhura, kurapwa kudhura, mvura yekunwa kudhura, zesa kudhura, zvose hapana chaunoti zviri nani. Asi dzimwe nyika dzichipa vanhu vadzo zvinhu izvozvo pachena kuti vanhu vabatsirike. Isu mazimbo tinoshanda, saka makuona mumigwagwa musisafambike nevanhu vanenge vachitengesa kutsvaga kurarama. That is from Guy Maps. Regati dzokere kuna Vamuguti muripo here parunari?
Ndiripo baba.
Muri kunzwa zviri kutaurwa nevamwe vari kuti aiwa vanhu ngavadzokere kumusha, vamwe vachiti kumusha zvinhu zvakaoma. Munoti kudi nezviri kutaurwa nevanhu izvi?
Ndinoti izvoni anoti vanhu ngavadzokere kumba zvinenge zvakamunakira iye nokuti vanhu havangasiyi misha nenyika yavo vachinogara senhapwa munyika dzavari dzima vanobatwa nokusemwa kudarika imbwa kana kudarika nguruve chaiyo.
asi nekuda kwomumiriro uri kuitawo zvino munyika medu handifungi kuti pane munhu musvinu kana kuti ane kufunga kwakati dzikiti angataura kuti kwai vanhu vane usimbe got all sorts of people vakadzidza asi vakasiya nyika yezimbabwe nekuda kwomumiriro wayo since 2000 up to 2008 makaona zvakaitika. There is nothing which has changed in Zimbabwe. People are still being killed silently. Saka moti vanhu vanodzokera unozvisasika here. Saka it's just like kuti go back to the burning fire from the frying pan. Ndo zvavari kuda kuti munhu abude mupani uri kukwata hayo mafuta achienda mumazimba akatsvuka emupani.
Aiwa, tinotenda zvikuru vaMuguti rambai henyu muri parunhare.
I think still on Mr. Mguti, we may ask him one question. Mr. Mguti, how are people surviving at that church? You know, what do people do there?
Actually, just provide shelter for overnight. Other people go to look for jobs. Others are working as nannies, construction workers, and some were in the NGOs, non-governmental organizations. Like, for instance, here at Central Methodist have been helping the security administration, the home-based care, taking care of the deceased to see that their relatives are notified in time if their relative dies under any circumstance. So people survive by not teaching, but they try to go looking for jobs. It's not everyone at Central Methodist who's not working. But the problem is that what they are being paid is next to peanuts.
Thank you, Mr. Mguti.
Yeah, siyake umnumzana Ndiweni. Baba Ndiweni kunzima kanganani ukuthi umuntu nxa ehlala eSouth Africa ikakhulu abahlala khona mpana eMethodist Church ukuthi ayidinga umsebenzi azisebenzele abese nakekela imuli yakhe.
Akulula khona akulula ama challenges abantu ababhekane lawo maningi kakhulu ikakhulu vele khona impilo yase Joburg iyazakala ukuthi akulula kule competition whether umbe uthengisa nje saladini ngoba singakhumbula even kuona le umnyaka bekule program le ayifana le clean up lapho abathengisa eStreetini ababedudulwa khona besuswa so abaningi bakhona kade behlala khona lapha eMethodist Church yibo futhi yibo ababethengisa nje okuyizimpahlanyana kwabo khona lapha eStreetini and now kwabe sokubuya ke le program yayi clean up cleaning the streets of Joburg kuthiwa awungala license awusavunyelwe ukuthengisa so lokho lakho kwase kwenza vele ukuphila kwabantu kwaba nzima wesi even noma nje kuthiwa ukuhlanganisa khona lapho nje ukuthengisa okuyizinto omncane khona kodwa vele ukuthola umsebenzi eSouth Africa kulula ngoba even noma unamaphepha nje siyakwazi ukuthi indaba ye-unemployment yona iyatholakala indawo zonke but eSouth Africa nxa uvele amaphepha akho engalunganga yikho lapho ba-exposed khona ukuthi ungasebenza ungaphiwa lutho kumbe uhole imali vele engahambelani lo msebenzi lo owenzayo so ukuphila kwakhona vele kunzima and ukuphila vele khona eJoburg is costly siyakwazi ukuthi kuyabiza kakhulu so nxa usenza imisebenzi ngama-piece job vele uyabuphila kanzima nxa kuyikuthi nama abantu sebemuva lapho eMethodist akade behlala bengabhadali nawe ukuthi ukuthi abaningi bakhona sokuyikuthi ukuthi khona lokho okuncane bekwenza okuyinye kwakhona sokuyikucezula umuntu ayibhadala irent lapho vele khona isituation yakhona isibe ngenye esimeni vele sesabisayo.
Yes, siyakuzwa kakhulu ke mnumzana Ndiweni ungakhatshana mfowethu ubambe khonapho. So what Mr. Ndiweni is saying is that it's very difficult to get a job in South Africa, especially for people without immigration papers. He says you may get a job, but you are lowly paid if you don't have the proper papers. So that's a very, very tight situation, really.
Now vaMuguti tichitarisa vamwe vanga vawanirwa kwekugara tiri kunzwa kuti vamwe vari kuenda kuSoweto nedzimwe nzvimbo vari kuti kwakamira sei kwavari kuenda.
Ndakaenda kuze chokwadi chipotseukama one Soweto yakazara and ndambotaurira ndikati kuSoweto nyangwe munhu akaenda nebhegi rake kokuti anorara chaiwo nevanhu vari kubva bana Soweto anga agara yakazara nokuti vamwe vanhu vaireferwa kuti Soweto ndokuri kugara vana vechikoro zvekare saka sokuti agara yakazara kungoti kunyanzi kune nzvimbo asi nzvimbo chayo hapana nokuti kana uine zvinhu kusoweto hakutomborina chako kumwe kuri kutaurwa uku one kwangashongwa kuti vanhu vaende kuina city kunonzi kuna main street haasati apiwa makii bishop overend nemumwe bishop wache uya chechituku kumwe kuri kunzi kungangowanikwa hakusati kwatoveko hatisati aziva nezvako vanhu vakangonyogwa mazita paine hope yokuti by 31 munhu wese anenge awanikwa pekutsvetwa ndokuti vanhu vakangomira hana dziri maoko kune vatoenda kusoweto vakatodzoka vachitoti ati nzvimbo yekuti munhu kana usina chauinacho ungamanikidzira iriko but iri so saka nhau yokuti kusoweto munhu wese angabva akaenda ikoko atenganyetirana apo atedze izvinhu
ko saka kana muchinge makuenda kunotsvaga mabasa zvinhu zvinosara zviri pai zvinenge zvichifamba sei
panopamba nestorum yevarume nevakadzi yavanga vachisambasya dzavo kwozoti vanga vachigarawo mumarooms vanga vakaita laki sevane vana nevamwe vakangova vati garei vanga vachigara kana 10 mumarooms saka vanga vakavaka mapartition atinoti like dividing nemaketens saka maa musingazoshayikwi munhu angachiswera ari munzvimbo idzodzo storum yevarume yanga ine anochengeta yevakadzi yanga ine anochengeta
aiwa tinotenda zvikuru vamuguti rambai zvenyu muri parunhare Gibbs, you heard from Mr. Muguti that accommodation remains a problem though they are only about 2 days away from this eviction
ye nxa sukhangeleke baba ndiweni ungacebisa abantu uthini njengoba ke sokusela nje amalanga amabili baba ukuthi abantu besuke kwambani ungathini
ngingathi kunzima yikho ngisho ukuthi lathi mina ngokwami angikayi assessa i-situation le but bakhona abanye ebengixoxisana labo abaseduzane nale situation nje bengibriefa lami ukuthi isimo sikanjani akade bengitshela khona kukuhlanga but kunzima yikho ngisho ukuthi kwenzakale ngesikhashana lesana sokuthi noma nje ungumuntu ngathola imali zakhe lawe nje nxa umuntu ebuye phonga ukunika eviction note esithi sokumele uphume lapha endlini vele akululanga ukuthi ukhona uthole kumbe engathi accommodation uthole nje ukumuva khona lokhana nje akululanga so ngendlela lokho kwenzakale khona ndesikhangele ukuthi vele labo bekungabantu akade begciniwe ngezinye indlela abanye abakhona siyazi vele bebengasebenzi so kusuka vele kube nzima ngathi vele ngakusho mina ukubona kwami i-majority yabantu bonke labo vele nawo sebangama-candidates of mass deportation ngoba ungananzelela futhi umhla ka-31 nalowo yikho lapho kuphela khona okuthiwa i-online application to renew your ZSP of which bekulama-documents vele akade efunakala ukuthi ube ngumuntu osebenzayo kube le-affidavit or incwadi econfirma ukuthi uyasebenza kumbe ube umuntu owarejistayo ibhizinesi yakho but nxa umuntu othengisa ezitiridini and izinto ezikanjalo bekunzima ukuthi umuntu ahlanganise amaphepha anjalo so vele nxa sokubuya after 31 December vele abaningi ngathi sebengama-candidates of mass deportations okuyinto vele esikhathazayo lathi kakhulu.
Yes, yakuzwa kakhulu-ke mnumzana Ndiweni ubambe khonapho. So you were saying that the majority of people now may be candidates for deportation because at the end of the day it coincides with the deadline for the Zimbabwe special project, you know, in concerning IDs.
Special dispensation, yes. Vamuguti mungatenderana nazvo here kuti pamwe vamwe vanogona kupedzisira vakumanikidzwa kuti vadzokere kumba nemusi wechitatu?
Nhau iyoyo yanhu yaitaurwa nevazhinji kuti diti hatine transport inotisenga kunobvisira kumusha kaenda zvino nenhau yokuti nyaya yetransport hakuna mboya nesolution yokuti tokusengai tonokutsvetai kumbai especially tinoti maeconomical refugees saka nhau yetransport diyanga iripo vamwe vanhu vaienda kumba
vashoma vamwe vari kufunga kuti zviri nani kudzokera kumusha
vari kuva munhu vakutoti zviri nani kudzokera kuenda kumusha
vakawanda here ivavo kana kuti vashoma?
Nhamba yacho inenge yakutoda kuti ndikava neprogram yakaderoka inge ine backup because so far ndikuziva there are over 50 we've been talking about it because I'm engaging with almost everyone at this stage. The Muno Rana Peace Administration, the medical department.
Aiwa tinotenda zvikuru vamuguti nekupinda muchirongwa chedu. And we also want to thank Mr. Mtokozisi Ndiweni of the Zimbabwean, one of the Zimbabweans actually living in South Africa, and also Bishop Paul Verin for being our guest this evening. And signing off, this is yours truly, Blessing Zulu.
And I'm Kip Stube saying good night, Zimbabwe.